Welcome back, MVP road car family. Today we are diving deep into one of the most anticipated muscle cars of the decade, the 2026 Ford Mustang Boss 427. This isn't just another Mustang variant. This is Ford's statement piece, a car that ties heritage to the future in a way that few manufacturers dare to do anymore. The Boss 427 badge carries a lot of weight in the Mustang community, going back to the glory days of the late 1960s when Ford built the original Boss machines to dominate both the track and the street. So when they announced this car was coming for 2026, expectations skyrocketed. The big question is, does it deliver? Let's break it all down. The first thing that grabs you is the exterior presence. This car doesn't whisper performance. It shouts it at you the second you lay eyes on it. The front fascia has been reworked compared to the standard Mustang GT, with a lower, wider stance and a much more aggressive grille design. The grille itself is finished in a blacked-out mesh with a bold 427 badge tucked neatly into one corner, a subtle but strong reminder of what's under the hood. The LED headlights are razor-sharp, with a sequential running light signature that feels futuristic but still true to Mustang's DNA. The hood is massive and muscular, sculpted with deep heat extractors that aren't just for show, they're functional, helping to vent hot air from that monstrous engine. From the side, the Boss 427 rides lower thanks to its upgraded suspension setup, and you immediately notice the fender flares. They're subtle, but they widen the car just enough to make room for the massive 20-inch forged wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tires. Behind those wheels are Brembo carbon ceramic brakes, painted bright red, a perfect nod to the performance intentions of this car. The profile is sleek, the roofline dips in just the right way, and the fastback design is as classic Mustang as it gets. Around the back, the quad exhaust tips dominate the lower diffuser, and there's an optional carbon fiber rear wing that adds not only downforce, but also that race-ready aesthetic. The taillights keep the iconic tri-bar look, but they're more sculpted, with a darker tint that blends perfectly with the car's aggressive character. Inside the 2026 Boss 427, Ford has gone for a mix of modern luxury and old-school muscle feel. Slide into the driver's seat, and the first thing you notice are the bolstered Recaro sport seats. They're wrapped in premium leather with Alcantara inserts, contrast stitching, and of course the Boss 427 logo embossed on the headrests. The steering wheel is flat-bottomed, wrapped in Alcantara, with a red center stripe at the top to remind you this is a car built for serious driving. In front of you is a fully digital 12.4-inch instrument cluster, highly customizable, offering everything from traditional analog-style gauges to a track-focused layout with shift lights and performance telemetry. The center stack is dominated by a massive 13.2-inch Sync 5 infotainment display that seamlessly integrates wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, and even track apps. Ford has put a lot of emphasis on performance data here. You can pull up lap times, G-force meters, tire temperature readings, and even adjust suspension and exhaust settings from the screen. Below that, thankfully, there are still a few physical buttons for essential controls like volume and drive modes, a nod to drivers who don't want everything buried in a touchscreen. The materials used throughout the cabin feel a step above what we've seen in the past. There's soft touch suede on the dash, carbon fiber trim along the console, and aluminum accents around the air vents and door handles. Even the rear seats, while not exactly spacious, come with matching stitching and upgraded materials, so nothing feels like an afterthought. Now let's get to the heart of the matter, the performance. Under that long sculpted hood sits a 7.0-liter naturally aspirated V8, a callback to the original Boss 429 and 427 monsters from the late 60s and early 70s. This engine is hand-built and delivers an astonishing 650 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque. Ford decided to go with a naturally aspirated setup rather than turbocharging or supercharging, and that's intentional. They wanted an immediate, raw, and visceral throttle response that forced induction engines often can't match. The sound alone is worth the price of admission. On startup, it growls with a deep, throaty rumble that shakes the ground. And when you push it past 6,000 RPM, it screams in a way that feels mechanical and alive, not digitally tuned. The Boss 427 comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, complete with a short-throw shifter and rev-matching technology. For those who prefer 2 pedals, there's also a 10-speed automatic with paddle shifters, but true enthusiasts will gravitate toward the manual. It's the purist's choice, and it makes this car an absolute joy to drive. Power is sent to the rear wheels through a reinforced limited slip differential, and the launch control system ensures you can put that power down cleanly when the light turns green. In terms of performance numbers, Ford is claiming 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds with the manual and slightly quicker with the automatic. The top speed is electronically limited to 186 miles per hour, but it's the way this car gets there that impresses. The suspension has been tuned using input from Ford's racing division, featuring adaptive MagnaRide dampers, stiffer springs, and thicker sway bars. On the road, it feels planted and sharp, with a steering system that's precise and communicative. On the track, the Boss 427 dances between corners with agility you wouldn't expect from a car with such a big engine up front. The brakes inspire confidence lap after lap, and the balance of the chassis makes it feel like a complete package, not just a big motor stuffed into a coupe. Fuel economy? Well, if you're asking that question, this probably isn't the car for you. The Boss 427 isn't about efficiency. It's about emotion. Still, Ford managed to squeeze out around 14 miles per gallon in the city and 22 on the highway, which, considering the displacement and power output, isn't terrible. Now, let's talk pricing. The 2026 Ford Mustang Boss 427 starts at around $89,995, positioning it above the Mustang GT and even the Dark Horse, but below some European rivals in the same performance bracket. Fully loaded with the track package, carbon fiber options, upgraded sound system, and custom paint, you're looking at closer to $110,000. That's still a relative bargain when you consider cars like the Porsche 911 GT3 or the BMW M4 CSL that cost significantly more while offering similar performance numbers. What you're really buying here isn't just horsepower or lap times, it's a piece of history reimagined for the modern era. The Boss 427 isn't about blending in, it's about making a statement, both visually and audibly, every time you fire it up. So, does the 2026 Ford Mustang Boss 427 live up to the hype? In my opinion, absolutely. It captures the spirit of the original muscle car era while packing in the technology, refinement, and reliability of a modern performance machine. It looks aggressive, it feels special inside, it drives like a beast, and it delivers an experience that's becoming increasingly rare in a world moving toward electrification. This is a driver's car, through and through. If you're a Mustang enthusiast, this is the one you've been waiting for. If you're someone who just wants to experience pure V8 power before the industry shifts completely to electric, this could very well be one of the last great opportunities. The Boss 427 is more than just a car. It's a celebration of what makes muscle cars legendary.